I had an incident the other day, and it got me thinking about, well, specifically about parenting and those of us with kids of any age, especially though teens and above. And then, just maybe marriage, anything like that. So I was sitting quietly reading, and somebody asked me a question about myself. So I shared about myself using I words. I feel, I was feeling, I was thinking. And so that's why I did this thing. And it was kind of a sad question. So my answer was going to be, from a place of my sadness. And the person was taking my emotion and having their own emotional reaction because of what I'm sharing. And they started to get kind of angry. And, I don't actually know what they were feeling, but they started to sound kind of angry and get sharp and too aggressive with their words. And as I started answering, were interrupting and inserting their own selves. And it was like, but I thought you asked me a question. I thought you were wondering about me. It was very confusing. And this is common in conversation. So it started, I realized it went on for a little bit. And I realized after that, because this is such a common thing in my home, I realized my mind, I was saying, see, this is why I don't like to share about myself with this person. Because it's obviously too taxing for that person. And they start reacting in all these ways that are challenging and difficult for me and uncomfortable. And I'm not walking away feeling heard. And I'm not walking away feeling really safe. I was invited in to share something about myself. And then it became too overwhelming for this person. And I don't want them to be overwhelmed. And I don't want to be uncomfortable. So this is why I don't like to share about myself. And that's why I use the grief recovery method for myself, because I'm creating this message, and then the moment is reinforcing the message that I have going on in my head. It may or may not be true, but that's what I'm telling myself, and then I'm using this event over here to tell me why I'm right, okay? And I was thinking about when we have children, when we have teens, I was like, this is exactly what happens between parents and teens, parents and preteens. The adult will ask a question, even something so simple as, how was your day? And then the kid says, fine. And the adults get frustrated if they're paying attention. Sometimes they'll just take the fine, feelings inside, not expressed. They'll just take the fine and run with it. Oh, great, no drama. And then they don't really inquire further. But the kid has learned to say fine very often because they've learned that when they respond with something real, it's not going to be heard anyway. They're going to be corrected. They're going to be advised. They're going to be told what they should be doing and how to do it better. And there aren't going to be any questions to inquire what the kid's thinking or feeling about that. How did they respond? How did they go forward? What are they going to do? There's no this sense of curiosity. The adult often gets too full of emotion based on what they're hearing from the child, and the child is feeling like, but wait, you asked and now you don't want to hear, and it creates this belief in the child's head. Their next logical place to go is, that wasn't safe, and I don't want them to feel uncomfortable, and I also don't want to be uncomfortable because they're uncomfortable, so I'm just not going to talk anymore. And so they don't. And so that's a learned behavior because of it's a coping mechanism. It's a safety that the kid is trying to find or stick with, because the adult has no idea how to listen and be curious and remain in a curious state by asking questions, non-judgmental questions, and just really seeking to know more of the child in the situation. So the kid shuts down or doesn't open up in the first place. And spouses, this can happen to friends, siblings, coworkers, church mates, whatever it is. And I'm wondering, Is that you as an adult? Do you know how to listen? Do you shut people down because what you're hearing is too overwhelming? So then you start reacting, and then you're sending a message, maybe unintentionally, that what you're hearing is too much for you. And so you shut down the other person. And how's that working out for you? Do you really feel connected? Do people feel connected to you? Do you find that they do share themselves with you? Or do they hold back? And it's not all you. But I am wondering your part. What are you doing that leaves the other person feeling unsafe to share some of themselves with you? And I'm telling you what, if you have a preteen or teen or young adult child or any age child, but especially that window, they're not going to get themselves unsafe. There's too much lack of safety around with the kids and being judged or being, ostracized or not fitting in, or there's too much risk for judgment in their life. They're not going to risk being judged and shut down by the one person who they know loves them, even though they don't show that all the time. They know they're not going to risk that. It's uncomfortable. It doesn't feel good. So I'm just wondering, is that you? And how you could do that differently. That's something we're going to talk about and practice. We'll learn and really practice in a grief recovery method class. And that alone, saving your relationships, making sure without a shadow of doubt that you are learning how to be a safe listener, a curious listener, an engaged listener, because you really want to show the love you have. And you think it's in your, I've got all the answers, I know what you should do, let me guide you, let me tell you. Well, that might have worked when they were really little, but it doesn't work in their teen, preteen, teen, young adult years. They're going to withdraw from you. They naturally do anyway. They're definitely going to do it if they risk getting judged or shut down or being forced to be uncomfortable every time they share a piece of themselves in their life. Food for thought. I love you. Talk with you next time. Bye.